Hi guys, as we continue with theme 6, the last sub topic that we did was devotionalism, ziyarat, qawwali and languages, where we saw, so we've already seen how Islam has undergone a change and Sufism has emerged, and we had a look at how people were praying in Sufism and how the Sufi saints were very important, and the fact that now people not only went on a pilgrimage to Mecca, which was known as Hajj, people also went on a pilgrimage to the tomb of these Sufi saints. And this pilgrimage was known as Ziyarat. Well, to continue, we're now going to have a look at Sufis and the state. That's the next subtopic. Under the Sufis and the state, we're going to be seeing the relationship these Sufi saints or these Sufi followers had with the rulers or with the government. How was the government treating them? Were the rulers appreciating of them, or were the rulers discriminating against them? Were the rulers giving them royal patronage, giving them money, giving them donations, or not? Just go back and try to remember what we did in Bhakti. In Bhakti, we had a look at Bhakti in South India in two states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu especially, we saw how the Chola kings were giving a lot of royal patronage to Bhakti. However, when we had a look at Bhakti in North India, where people of lower caste, especially like weavers and artisans, started these Bhakti movements, there they were not getting any royal patronage, no state or no government support. Now, when Sufism emerges, we're going to see, are the Islamic rulers going to give support to Sufism or not? Well, they are. They're going to give a lot of royal patronage to them, a lot of donations. In fact, a lot of famous popular rulers will be ardent followers of these Sufi saints, and they will keep visiting their shrines and seeking their blessings as well as seeking their guidance. So, Sufis and the state. They followed austerity, which meant a distance from the worldly power. Who's they? Here, the Sufi saints. They mean Sufi saints. We know that Sufism started, it was like a protest movement, because so when Islam started, Prophet Muhammad had said we should all help each other, live a very simple life, so on and so forth. But over time, when we saw rise of Islam last year in Form 11, we saw how kingdoms got established. There was hereditary kingship. There was a lot of material wealth. Prophet Muhammad was against all of this, but over time, people following Islam started accumulating all these worldly pleasures. So now the Sufi saints say that we want to go back to the actual Islam, which was started by Prophet Muhammad. So we do not want worldly possessions, and that is why they maintained a distance from this worldly power. However, they accepted unsolicited grants and donations from the political elites in both cash and kind. So they are away from power, they're living a very simple life, but they were very open to whatever grants and donations that were coming to them. In both, cash is in the form of money, kind means in the form of land, in the form of grains for food. So the sultans granted trusts, these specific trusts that the sultans granted to the hospice or to the Chishti Khanka, the area where the Chishti Sufi saint lived. These trusts were known as Awqaf, and they were also given tax-free land. This tax-free land was known as Inam. Literally gift in Hindi, Inam would mean a gift or like a prize, Inam Jita, Inam. So here an Inam means tax-free land. What does tax-free land mean? It means now whichever land has been given to the Sufi saints, they do not have to pay any tax on it. Masses who came to the Sufis saw the donations and got impressed, of course, because they'd be like, look at the Sufi saint living such a simple life and such a simple person. Yet at the same time, this person has got so many donations from royalties. So it's something very impressive. They got impressed, and the moral authority of the sheikh increased. So example, I don't know, which other saints are you aware of? Probably, I don't know, let's say someone like Sai Baba, because he's very popular because they've made a lot of TV shows on him. Now, someone like him lives a very simple life, but then you would see the amount of followers behind him, the amount of people giving donations to him. So a similar idea is what I want you to use here. So when the masses came and had a look at these Sufi saints, they not only liked their teachings, but they were also very impressed with the amount of wealth they had, but the wealth they were not using themselves. The wealth was just for the greater good. And which also meant that if the Sufi saints are getting royal patronage or royal support, it means that they must be very important, and if they're important, we should also follow them. Now, so this means that the Sufis are getting a lot of followers because the followers are impressed. In return, these Sufis also help the sultans who were making donations to them. How did they help them? Remember I told you, class 11, when we did Europe, first estate and second estate, they gave legitimacy to each other and grants in return. So here again, when the kings are giving all these donations to Sufi saints, in return the Sufi saints are giving support to the kings and legitimizing the rules of the king, saying that no, he's a proper ruler, he's helping the people, he's not corrupt, he's just, so you must not go against him. So legitimization of kings from the Sufis helped the sultans who did not wish to follow the Sharia as interpreted by the ulama. This is like a very smart move here. So we've already seen that with the coming of the Delhi Sultanate in medieval India, Muslim rule comes in North India, right? Now Muslim rule, well, their holy book is Quran, and the Islamic law is known as Sharia. The body which interprets this Islamic law was called ulama. A king had to follow the Islamic law or Sharia, and the king had to listen to the ulama, because ulama would be like, no, we know what the Islamic law is. We are like these religious holy men, so you have to listen to us. A lot of times, ulama was very orthodox. So that's the ulama and the Sharia. But what about the king? The king may not want to be that orthodox. The king may be a very flexible person. Also, the king may sometimes feel that a group of these religious leaders are trying to control the king. With the coming of Sufism, the king now has an escape, which means the king can still follow Islam, and the king can very easily now take support of the Sufi saints who are more open, more flexible, and continue ruling. He does not only have to depend on this orthodox ulama to legitimize his rule. So it was working both ways. It was believed that the Aulia, which is the saint, could intercede with God and improve material and spiritual conditions of humans. Thus, the kings wanted their tombs in the vicinity of Sufi shrines. So, like a Sufi shrine or a dargah, it was said that the Sufi saint or Aulia could stay and connect with God and improve conditions for people, both material and spiritual. So even when kings died, they wanted to be in the area near them, vicinity, so that the blessings of the spiritual guidance of the Sufi saints kept influencing them and their family and their kingdom. So far sounds very good, which means Sufi saints and the kings or the sultans seem to be sharing a very good relationship, where the kings are making donations to Sufi saints, and all the Sufi saints are not using it for personal wealth, they are using it for the greater good. This greater good means the masses will be attracted to the Sufi saints. Vice versa, the Sufi saints are legitimizing the support, for the king, or legitimizing the rule of the king. But there were also conflicts. The conflicts were that both kings and Sufis believed in rituals like prostration and kissing of feet. What is prostration? Prostration is when you lie down in front of someone. You may have seen, if you've been to temples, a lot of these people do it in front of priests or pandits, where someone, in order to you don't just bow down, and you don't just join your hands and bow down, you're actually there lying on the floor. And so this is also happening in Sufism and Islam. Now the thing is that both kings and Sufis believed this. So if someone has come to meet the king and wants to pay their respect, that person should prostrate. It was the same for the Sufi saint. Someone has come to meet the Sufi saint, that person also must lie down flat on the ground and pay take the Sufi's blessings. There was another ritual like kissing of feet. If someone has come to see the king, they would kiss the king's feet to take the king's blessings. Same, if someone came to see a Sufi saint, they would do the same to the Sufi saint also. So this is done basically to assert authority. But the conflict began when kings started supporting Sufi saints. So if they went to see a Sufi saint, Would the king bow down in front of the Sufi saint? Would the king kiss the feet of the Sufi saint? Or the other question is, a king has come to see a Sufi saint, the king of the empire, the whole kingdom, the highest authority. So if a king goes to see someone, will the Sufi saint then feel very grateful that the king has come to see him, and will then the Sufi saint lie down on the ground to pay his respect? Will the Sufi saint kiss the feet of the king? So that was a huge huge conflict. Another conflict that arose was both Sufi saints and kings used very high sounding lofty titles. A king would definitely have a title, because Maharaj, Adhiraj and Sultan of so and so place and all kinds of things, to tell where this king has come from, and the king rules all the worlds and so on and so forth. But the thing is that Sufi saints also started using similar titles. The followers gave them such titles. So was it okay that both these authorities are using such lofty titles, or should just one of them use it? So for example, Sufi saint Nizamuddin Aulia, one of the most popular ones, had a title called Sultan ul Mashaykh. This literally means Sultan amongst the sheikhs. Who are these sheikhs? Sultan amongst the Sufi saints. So here a Sufi saint is actually referring to himself as Sultan of whatever, but still Sultan in a certain way. So this was another point of conflict between the king and the Sufi saints. Alright, we'll continue with the rest in the next video. Thank you.